Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Virgo January 2020 horoscope forecast part 2 of 2. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing up is as far as January goes, Mars will be in Scorpio from the 1st until the 3rd. So the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, a situation with siblings, cousins, neighbors may be more acrimonious, contentious than usual. There could be arguments over bitter jealousy, guard against vindictive, vengeful anger at this time, and actions toward these people. It could be a time too where you looking at this, you could be more outspoken than usual at this time, since we're talking about Mars and then the third house of communication. Generally, if there's some kind of argument, it might not be, it's not up, it probably won't be very tactful and diplomatic at this time, to say the least. But on a positive end, this could be about a lot of energy and vitality into doing something connected with transformation with your neighbors, or something with short journeys, such as a car, such as rebuilding engines or vehicles, or it could also be a time too putting a lot of energy, vitality into very provocative, deep communications at this time. Ones that aren't superficial, ones that go very, very deep, and also into it could be a time too where if you're unattached at this time, Virgo, you may connect with a Scorpio sun, moon, or ascendant person, or one that embodies Scorpio characteristics. It could be for a sexual liaison. It may be somebody you meet through a neighbor. It could be actually could be a neighbor. It could be somebody that you may have known in your early education, or even somebody younger than you, since we're talking about that third house that corresponds with Gemini. Next thing up, well, Mars will be in Sagittarius as far as January goes, from the 3rd until the 31st. So the fourth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, situation on the home front, and people you're close to home with and family members may be a little bit more contentious and acrimonious than usual. There may be arguments over philosophical differences. It could be matters connected with religion and the law, where you may have some arguments with these people. But it could also be about a lot of enthusiastic, exuberant, and expansive energy injected into getting ready for that latter part of life, if you are not already in it at this time. If you're unattached at this time, Virgo, you may connect with a Sagittarius sun, moon, or ascendant person, or one that embodies Sagittarius traits. It could be for a sexual liaison. It may be somebody that you feel close to home with, maybe a family member introduced you to. It could be a person that might be there for you at that latter or that end part of life. And also too, it could be a time too where you might, and it could be again for a sexual liaison, but it can be somebody that might be there for that latter end part of life, since we are talking about the fourth house. And it could also be at this time too really engaging in maybe sports activities, and at this time with family members. It could be something, anything sports or outdoors related with family members at this time. You might find yourself, though, maybe becoming a little bit angry at maybe some Sagittarius qualities at the core, such as being maybe overly foolhardy, over optimistic, over exuberant, even self-righteous at this time. So anyway, next thing up. Well, Jupiter will be in Capricorn still, so the fifth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, as I've spoken about in previous videos, Jupiter can be rather paradoxical, can be very strongly benign and benevolent, but could also have a tendency to enlarge and expand. Now, in some cases, this can enlarge and expand pessimism, things connected with limitations, restrictions, depressive energy in matters with love, romance, things of a speculative nature. at this time. It could also expand and enlarge responsibilities with children, with lovers, to things that might be of a speculative nature or even gambling in some cases, investments. And you might find yourself at this time too, though, given, I mean, on the positive end though, Jupiter still could be very fortuitous. Jupiter and Capricorn in fifth house energy could be very fortuitous and positive, perhaps for doing fifth house matters with a lot of premeditation and planning, such as doing things associated with investments, matters with children, with lovers, and even matters even by just by being very methodical and orthodox in terms of attaining perhaps greater personal popularity. It's about being, could be luck and fortune by doing by being very methodical, being very systematic in that at this time, Virgo. So anyway, and also being lucky through just gaining structure and discipline in love and romantic life at this time, and doing and also could be favorable for Capricorn related hobbies. I mean, it could be mountain climbing in some cases, or doing some of the crafts or something that requires a structure. It could be just putting like those die cast metal cars together, something like that at this time. So anyway, next thing up, Saturn will be in Capricorn still, so the fifth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, in some cases you might find yourself taking care of a sickly or debilitated. It could be a lover, it could be a child, it could be somebody that maybe you're in some romantic connection with at this time, and it's somebody, it could be something Capricorn related, such as something with the knees, the bones, the hamstrings, the joints, and maybe making you feel somewhat despondent and melancholy. Now at this time you might feel a certain responsibility to doing something in terms of your fun, your amusement, and enjoyment at this time. It could be something too where this could be about really laborious, consistent efforts in matters with children, with lovers, and even doing something in terms of something of a speculative nature. It could be a time too where you might be experiencing some loss or some restrictions in terms of investments at this time, Virgo. But it could also be a time too where older people might be figuring more prominently in terms of your personal popularity, things of a speculative nature at this time. And it could be a time too where you might be involved in Saturn like hobbies and things of enjoyment at this time. It could be playing like some kind of political or business board game, or doing anything that requires, I mean, Saturn and Capricorn energy is really, I mean, you're talking about a lot of, laborious, consistent efforts. So whatever you're doing in terms of fun, amusement, and enjoyment, it could be something connected, something that you're really actually doing a lot of work as far as doing it at this time, and working very laboriously and consistently at it. So anyway, and even something like with information technology, I mean, anything that could be Capricorn, Saturn / Capricorn related at this time, you might find very, you might find it very amusing and enjoyable at this time. So anyway. Well, next thing up is Uranus will still be in Taurus, so at this time the ninth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, you might find yourself dealing with some unusual, stubborn, obstinate behavior from in-laws, from grandchildren. It could be a time too where you might find yourself adopting some kind of unorthodox philosophy or religion at this time, Virgo, and you might find yourself at this time doing something as far as higher education goes that is Uranus related. It could be something connected with computers, electronics, aerospace, astronomy, astrology in some cases. And it could be that Taurus friendships, they could be Taurus Sun, Moon, Ascendant people, or ones that embody Taurus characteristics might figure more prominently in your philosophy, your religion, your higher education, maybe traveling abroad, even expanding horizons in some cases. You might find yourself doing something that's publishing related as far as Uranus goes at this time, such as something connected with the future, innovation, aerospace, astronomy, astrology, something that's esoteric, something that's connected with the unusual or unorthodox at this time. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Neptune will still be in Pisces, so the seventh house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So hold on a moment, people. It could be a time, people, where it might be difficult in deciphering the character composition of others. You might find yourself connecting with people, sadly, that might be involved in drugs and or alcohol use. Um, a significant other, a marriage partner, grandmother even may be more nebulous and unclear, more so than usual, maybe even a little bit deceptive and duplicitous. But on the positive end, this could be very positive for maybe budding up, collaborating with somebody in some partnership situation, connection with something Neptune related, such as poetry, dancing, the metaphysical, which includes astrology, photography, chemistry, and could also be dealing with confounding legal matters. You don't really you're having difficulty seeing the details, and also open adversaries might be a little bit more nebulous and unclear. I mean, when you're talking about Neptune energy, it could be a lot of difficulty in seeing that fine print, so to speak. When we're talking about Neptune in seventh house energy, it could be about a time where, I mean, wherever Neptune is in one's chart, it shows where we might find ourselves more inclined to daydreaming and fantasizing as opposed to actually taking action on. And seventh house matters in this case, and it's especially if transit Neptune is making an adverse aspect to one's natal sun, Mars, or ascendant at this time. So those are some ways that this could manifest and pan out for you. Now, last but not least, Pluto will be in Capricorn still. So at this time, the fifth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, a lot of you don't want me to say the dreaded D word, but you know I'm going to anyway. In some cases, this could be the actual literal death of a child, of a lover at this time. It could be a time, too, where you might feel at this time where there might be some power struggles with in upheavals with children, with lovers, but also guard against becoming obsessive or fixated on gambling, such as being a compulsive gambler at this time, if you will. And also where Pluto is, and I mean, this could also be about doing something Plutonian that is fun, amusing, and enjoyable at this time. It could be something connected with the occult, astrology, supernatural, recycling, anything connected with transformation. Could be getting to the bottom of things. It could just be going around with a metal detector trying to find lost coins and metal objects, because I mean, this is Pluto's connected with Scorpio, investigation. At the same time, where Pluto is in the chart is where we might expect infallibility from others. So guard against expecting infallibility from people you might be doing investments with, or with children, with lovers at this time. And also, you might feel like might be a time where you're trying to gain some kind of power through personal popularity at this time. So anyway, or maybe even involved in some kind of Plutonian type sports related competition, such as extreme sports at this time. Anyway, people, that will conclude this YouTube astrological segment. And until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.